हरिः ओम्। हरिः ओम्। शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ सिन्दूरारुणविग्रहां त्रिनयनां माणिक्यमौलिस्फुरतारानायकशेखरां स्मितमुखीमापीनवक्षोरुहां पाणिभ्यां मलिपूर्णरत्नचषकं रक्तोत्पलं बिभ्रतीं सौम्यां रत्नघटस्थरक्तचरणां ध्यायेत् पराम् अम्बिकाम्। ॐ ध्यायेन्नित्यं महेशं रजतगिरिनिभं चारुचन्द्रावतंसं रत्नाकल्पोज्ज्वलाङ्गं परशुमृगवराभीतिहस्तं प्रसन्नं पद्मासीनं समन्तात् स्तुतममरगणैः व्याघ्रकृत्तिं वसानं विश्वाद्यं विश्वबीजं निखिलभयहरं पञ्चवक्त्रं त्रिनेत्रम् ॐ नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दुग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्स सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्।
धृतराष्ट्र उवाच धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवः मामकाः पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय। श्रीभगवानुवाच क्लैब्यं मास्मगमः पार्थ नैतत्त्वय्युपपद्यते क्षुद्रं हृदय दौर्बल्यं त्यक्त्वोत्तिष्ठ परन्तप। यं सन्न्यासमिति प्राहुः योगं तं विद्धि पाण्डव न ह्यसंन्यस्तसङ्कल्पो योगी भवति कश्चन। आरुरुक्षोः मुनेर्योगं कर्म कारणमुच्यते योगारूढस्य तस्यैव शमः कारणमुच्यते। यदा हिनेन्द्रियार्थेषु न कर्मस्वनुषज्जते सर्वसङ्कल्पसंन्यासी योगारूढस्तदोच्यते। उद्धरेत् आत्मनात्मानं नात्मानम् अवसादयेत् आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बन्धुः आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः बन्धुरात्मात्मनस्तस्य येनात्मैवात्मना जितः अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत् यथा दीपो निवातस्थो नेङ्गते सोपमा स्मृता योगिनो यतचित्तस्य युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः यं लब्ध्वा चापरं लाभं मन्यते नाधिकं ततः यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन गुरुणापि विचाल्यते शनैः उपरमेत् बुद्ध्या धृतिगृहीतया आत्मसंस्थं मनः कृत्वा न किञ्चिदपि चिन्तयेत् सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि ईक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा सर्वत्र समदर्शनः यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र सर्वं च मयि पश्यति तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि स च मे न प्रणश्यति अर्जुन उवाच चञ्चलं हि मनः कृष्ण प्रमाथि बलवत् दृढम् तस्याहं निग्रहं मन्ये वायोरिव सुदुष्करम् श्रीभगवानुवाच असंशयं महाबाहो मनो दुर्निग्रहं चलम् अभ्यासेन तु कौन्तेय वैराग्येण च गृह्यते असंयतात्मना योगो दुष्प्राप इति मे मतिः वश्यात्मना तु यतता शक्यो वाप्तुमुपायतः पाथ नैवेह नामुत्र विनाशस्तस्य विद्यते न हि कल्याणकृत् कश्चित् दुर्गतिं तात गच्छति मनुष्याणां सहस्रेषु कश्चिद् यतति सिद्धये यतताम् अपि सिद्धानां कश्चिन्मां वेत्ति तत्त्वतः मत्तः परतरं नान्यत् किञ्चिदस्ति धनञ्जय मयि सर्वम् इदं प्रोतं सूत्रे मणिगणा इव रसोऽहमप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मि शशिसूर्ययोः प्रणवः सर्ववेदेषु शब्दः खे पौरुषं नृषु बीजं मां सर्वभूतानां विद्धि पार्थ सनातनं बुद्धिमत्तामस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहम् बलं बलवतां चाहं कामरागविवर्जितं धर्माविरुद्धो भूतेषु कामोऽस्मि भरतर्षभ देवी ह्येषा गुणमयी मम मया दुरत्यया मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायामेतां तरन्ति ते चतुर्विधा भजन्ते मां जनाः सुकृतिनोऽर्जुन आर्तो जिज्ञासुरर्थार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतर्षभ तेषां ज्ञानी नित्ययुक्त एकभक्तिर्विशिष्यते प्रियो हि ज्ञानिनोत्यर्थम् अहं स च मम प्रियः वेदाहं समतीतानि वर्तमानानि च अर्जुन भविष्याणि च भूतानि मां तु वेद न कश्चन इच्छाद्वेषसमुत्थेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहं सर्गे यान्ति परन्तप येषां त्वन्तगतं पापं जनानां पुण्यकर्मणां ते द्वन्द्वमोहनिर्मुक्ता भजन्ते मां दृढव्रताः.
Very nice. Thank you, Rakesh.
Finished 15 minutes.
We finished 15.
Yes.
So I will just read a little bit background. Ananya cheta satatam yomam smarati nityashah tasyaham sulabhah partha nitya yuktasya yoginah. To the single-minded yogi in perpetual communion who constantly remembers me, I am easily accessible, O Arjuna. Tava saulabhyena kim syat iti uchyate shrunu tat mama saulabhyena yat bhavati. What is the use of your easy accessibility? Listen as to what it yields. Mam upetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanah samsiddhim paramam gataha. Reaching me and winning supreme perfection. Magnanimous sages no longer suffer rebirth, this ephemeral abode of all sufferings. So, having reached me, Mam Upetya, Punarjanma Dukkha Alayam Ashashvatam Na Apnuvanti. That is the whole thing has to be taken together. Repeat birth and in the abode of suffering, which is ephemeral, Ashashvatam. They do not reach. Who are the ones? Mahatmanaha, the great magnanimous sages. Samsiddhim Paramam, the supreme perfection, having reached, having won. So, did we talk a little bit about the Yoga Sutra concept, which is hard to grasp and difficult to internalize and difficult to keep in mind at all times. Sarvam eva dukkham vivekina. So this is the paradox. How come the great gurus and sages are always smiling, but yet they say sarvam eva dukkham vivekina? And what do they mean by this sarvam? So the Yoga Sutra says parinama tapa samskarehi gunavritti virodhacha sarvam eva dukkham vivekina. Parinama tapa samskara. So the having been burnt or subjected to suffering, tapa, by what? By the samskaras. And the fruits of the samskaras. So samskaras are the trace impressions in the mind, their parinam, the result, having burnt these people. Samskara. Why did that happen? Why does the burning happen? Guna vritti virodhacha, because of the constant interplay between the gunas. However sweet and nice and pious and all holy you are, sattva you cultivate, how much ever you cultivate, there is no being who is free of rajas and tamas, right? That sattva will give way eventually to some tamas, and then that has to be overcome by rajas, which will again have to be overcome by sattva, which will then be overcome by tamas, right? Even in your day-to-day life, you see, at night the mind is overwhelmed by tamas. In the morning it wakes up, and then there is a rajasic feeling, and just like Brahma gives birth to the whole creation through his rajas, and then a wisdom dawns, and he say that let me remember the Vedic injunctions and let me pray to the Sandhya. Let me not be subject to the demons of the night who try to drag me down, who try to further deepen my andhakar and tamas, although it is very hard. So through great effort, the sadhak gets up and offers the Sandhya Argyam, purifies himself through sattva, engages in the day's activities through rajas, so as to purify that rajas, right? Purify the body, purify the mind. But there's no end to it. Even at the end of the birth, how many sandhyas can one do, right? So therefore, this nitya karma, at its appropriate part, the mind says, I must go beyond this, because these karmas will take me, the karma kand will take me as far as Swarga. Definitely I will accrue a lot of punyam. Definitely I will lead a life in heaven. But when that is exhausted, I will be flung down again into this boiling pit of Bhulokam, right? It is not to say that Bhulokam is all bad, but its reflection of the bliss is only a minute reflection. It is called Vishayananda. And I keep saying this, but at one point I will have to play the Anandavalli for you from the Taittiriya Upanishad. Maybe today is the day, we will see if I find the break. And in that Anandavalli, the reckoning of the various levels of happiness or Anandam are done. And the Anandam of a young man fully in control or fully enjoying his senses in the world is reckoned as one unit. And then above that are stacked all the units. So how we can experience that highest bliss is something that has been occupying the minds of the rishis for a very long time. But what the yogis say is, definitely this birth again in the human form is the ephemeral abode, ashashvatam, and it is indeed suffering only. It is dukkham. Very difficult, because the maya is so great that a slightly enjoyable episode will quickly divert the mind into thinking, oh, it's not so. But that's why we need the constant reminder, right? So who is going to read 16?
I can read, Professor.
Please.
Abrahma bhuvanaloka punaravartinorjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate.
Abrahma bhuvanat lokaha punar avartino arjuna mamupayate tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate. So yeah, actually this beginning verse comes even in one of our puja vidhanam, Abrahmalokad Alokat, and that is starting from Abrahma Bhuvanat iti. Abrahma Bhuvanat Bhavanti Asmin Bhutani iti Bhuvanam. That in which beings appear is a world. The ones in which bhutas have their bhavam, bhavanti, that is called a bhuvanam. Brahma's world is what pertains to him. Brahmano bhuvanam, Brahma bhuvanam. Brahma lokaha ityartaha. So worlds up to and including Brahmas. Abrahma bhuvanat saha Brahma bhuvanena lokaha. Up to and including his world. Sarve punar avartinaha. All worlds have the feature of recurrences. O Arjuna. So we reckon the up, the 7 worlds up. Bhor, Bhova, Subha, Maha, Jana, Tapa, Satya. So Bhagavan is saying up to the Satyalok, right? So we know through the senses we are experiencing Bhulok, right? We know that the Pitras live in the Bhuvalok, right? This is a more subtle world. Time moves slower in the Bhuvalokam. What is 1 day for the Pitras is 1 month for us, right? So moving slower in time and at the level of thoughts is where the Pitras reside. Once one goes beyond that is where the Devas reside, Devalok, right? Devalok time moves even more slowly, right? So there reside Agni, Vayu, right? And all the Devas led by Indra. So, and this is considered Swarga. But beyond that reside the Siddhas. So they reside in Mahajanatapa, the ones who have mastered the senses to various degrees. The tamasic aspect, the rajasic aspect, and the sattvic aspect even. Tapa. Beyond Tapalok live is the abode of Brahma, Satyalok, right? The experience and the travel of Satyalok can be had through yoga practice, right? Now, after the tour of all these 7 worlds, Pariksha Lokan, Karmasitan, Brahmano, all conceived of through thought, they can be gained, right? So worlds up to and including Brahmas are repeatedly won and lost. How do you win Brahmalok? Through tapas. The deeper one's yogic austerity and the deeper the control of the pran and the pranas and the mind, one can reach up to Satyalok, undoubtedly, right? And have the direct vision of Brahma. But they're also lost on account of past karmas, right? One is flung back down to earth to complete the prarabdha karma in this life. In that sense, he is saying worlds up to and including Brahmas are repeatedly won and lost. Every time one goes into Samadhi, one can see Satyalok. And every time one emerges out of Samadhi, one has to come back and live with the world, right? Okay. So, but on reaching, and you know, in the progression, there is Brahma Granthi, Vishnu Granthi, Rudra Granthi. Breaking of Brahma Granthi, then next level is breaking of Vishnu Granthi, and then finally Rudra Granthi at the Agnya Chakra. And then on reaching me, there is no rebirth. So once all the 3 Granthis are broken and the Bhagavan Sri Krishna as the abode, as the supreme refuge is seen, then there is no more return. So whether one considers that as a Krama Mukti or a Jivan Mukti, after the completion of that prarabdha, that jiva does not return ever again. The great gurus transcended their prarabdha also in this life itself. So therefore for them, it was sahaja samadhi. So that's why Ramana and others were called Bhagavan, because they never seemed to leave that state of samadhi itself. It was so natural to them. So, and so this is the understanding of 16. So Brahmalok is still considered a lower experience than that of experience of Vaikuntham through breaking the Vishnu Granthi, and higher than that, the experience of Kailasham, the abode of Shiva, by breaking the Rudra Granthi. Yeah. Next one, somebody.
I will read.
Please.
Sahasrayugaparyantam aharyad brahmano viduhu ratrim yugasahasrantam teho ratra vido janaha.
Very beautiful. Te ahoratra vido janaha. This is very beautiful. Te, who? They. Aha, aha means day. Ratri means night. Ahoratra vidaha. These are very wonderful people. Who are these? They are the ones who have mastered Hatha Yoga. Hatha, moon and sun. They know that what is the meaning of day and night. In the Purusha Suktam again, it comes, right? How does it come? Ahoratre parshve. Ahoratra on the sides, this Purusha has. The two sides, Ida and Pingala, right? So, the ones who have the true knowledge of this, of the sun and the moon, of the day and the night. What do they say? Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Ahar Yat Brahmano Viduhu Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam Te Ahoratra Vido Jana. They hold, they say that the day of Brahma, they know that the day of Brahma consists of 1,000 ages. So remember already, what did I tell you? The Pitrulok's time is longer, did I not tell you? Is 1 month. So you apply the appropriate calculation of magnitudes, right? And going up through Svargalok, I mentioned the 7. 1,000 ages. Sahasra Yuga. And so therefore, you see, when one has the experience of Samadhi, that you can imagine that cuts out 1,000 ages of births, right? Because in that one instant, one has experienced the equivalent of what people will experience by 1,000 births, even done with great purification. This is the power of that experience of Samadhi. So residing in Brahmaloka for one instant, one can cut out the karma of these 10,000 of 1,000 ages, right? And therefore, that many human births, right? They know that a day of Brahma or Prajapati or Virat extends to the limit of 1,000 ages. The night too is of the same extent. Who knows all this? Those who know the extent of a day and night, or the knowers of the measure of time. Thus, since the worlds are limited in time, they recur, right? Prajapatehe ahani yat bhavati ratraucha tat uchyate. Now it's stated what happens during Prajapati's day and night. Who is going to read?
I can go.
Please.
Avyaktat व्यक्तय यह सर्वाः प्रभवन्तत्य अरागमे रात्र्यागमे प्रलीयन्ते तत्रैव व्यक्तसंज्ञके.
Avyaktat vyaktayah sarvaha. Avyaktat, from, this is ablative, right? Fifth case. From the unmanifest. Vyaktayah, the manifest ones, all the manifest ones. Who are they? They are all the individuals. Sarvaha. Prabhavanti, they are born, they appear. Aharagame, at the beginning of the day of Prajapati. Ratri agame, on the onset of the night. Praliyante, they all dissolve. Tatra eva, where? Back into that avyakta sangyake, right? So you see the beauty of our Sanatana Dharma is that, isn't this simply the macrocosmic parallel of your microcosmic day and night? And that's why, if you remember earlier, at one point Bhagavan says, on the other hand, if you say that everybody is born every day and dies every night, that's also fine. Because we don't know what happens in the night. In the deep sleep, there is no memory, right? We just come back and we see things seem to not have changed, right? So in some sense, that's why we do the Arghyam itself in the Sandhyavandana. We recognize that even through this limited Upadhi state, We are giving birth to the day, right? It is only by allowing our consciousness to flow through the senses that we are giving. When we wake up, we give birth to the day. Suppose a guy sleeps, there is no day for him, right? What do you think? I told you there are jazz musicians who don't know there's a 10 a.m. They think there's only 10 p.m. There's only 10 o'clock in the day, right? So for them, there is no day, right? It starts in the afternoon, madhyahnam or aparahanam, right? On the other hand, the early morning is truly considered the time of Brahma Muhurta, right? And at that time, his state is very accessible. So just as we wake up and we pour our consciousness through the senses, we feed the devas, and then the devas rejoice and give us back. After all, isn't that what Prajapati said? He said, Parasparam, remember that verse? He says, you nourishing each other, correct? You will rejoice. So everybody is doing this. The only difference is that those who know, they do it with knowledge. So they get up in the morning and they offer the argya and say, this is my consciousness. Just as Brahma is pouring this through all the beings, I am pouring my consciousness through all my senses. I am offering first to the devas, then yajna shishta I will take. The remainder of the yajna I will take. Right? And then just like we offer in the homam, Prajapatehe idam namama. This is not mine. You see, man proposes, God disposes. This morning we had a great plan. We said we will go and do X, Y, Z. Suddenly God can intervene and say no. You can have rain. Your health can give up. Wind can start. You never know. All our goofy plans can just come crashing down in an instant, right? In an instant. So what control do we have as human beings, right? If God does not grace, they say even an ant cannot move. Even blade of grass cannot come up. Yes or no? It's true. We forget it very easily, but it's absolutely true, right? So everything is at the mercy of something greater. But such is the power of our ego that we can forget it very fast. Right? Very fast we can forget it. So what Bhagavan is saying is, that is why every morning it's good to remember. At least for 10 minutes we can remember. Okay, God, you are greater than me. You are enabling all this experience for me. Thank you. Let me give my prayers to you. May it be a good day. And then we'll see what happens after that. Right? And when we do that, a great joy ensues. Because then we are able to see with that humility, the whole day goes very well. Right? Problems resolve themselves. People help us. Right? And the whole universe opens up and smiles at you. So they are dissolved in the same unmanifest. So what does Bhagavan Sri Shankaracharya say in the commentary? Avyaktat iti. Avyaktat avyaktam prajapatehe swapavastha. It is his sleep state of Prajapati sleep. Right? See, just like, we say, I told you we have three avasthas, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. And in these three avasthas, they are corresponding the Vishva, Taijasa, Prajna. Right? I said only in deep meditation you can access the Prajna state. Most meditators don't get to that state. When you go into deep meditation and access the Prajna state, you know your samskaras, the trace tendencies of thoughts that are lying latent like seeds in our mind, in the mind bed. Similarly, in Prajapatis also they are there. We are only a reflection of that, right? So the seed elements in his mind are the jivas. So when he wakes up, boom, all the jivas come into play, right? Today I make a sankalpam. I say, I'm going to do some good for the world today, right? Within the power that is there vested in me, I am able to do something depending on the power of my sankalpam. Prajapati's sankalpam power is very great. So he is able to bring the whole world into existence. right? After all, although I said everything is at the mercy of the Lord, you are given some power too, right? You can put one foot in front of the other, even though it is through God's grace. You can, if it's raining, you can take an umbrella and go out in the rain, right? If you're determined to help somebody, you can do something within that power that's been given to you, right? That is depending on your sankalpam power, right? If your project or your ambition is inspiring a lot of people, they're also coming forward to help you, right? So that is the power of your sankalpam, right? It is not zero power. Depending on there's a guy who says, I want to climb Mount Everest. He has great sankalpam power. He gets up and climbs, right? So according to his power of sankalpam, he is able to accomplish as permitted by God, right? Similarly, Prajapati's sankalpam power is so great that he is able to bring forth all of creation with it, right? So that is the meaning here. So in his sleeping state, the trace jivas are living. Tasmat avyaktat vyaktayah vyajyante iti vyaktayah sthavara jangama lakshanaha. Their characteristics are that they are moving and unmoving. Sthavaram jangamam chaiva. Mobile and immobile. All creatures are born, they become manifest. Sarvaha prajaha prabhavanti abhivyajyante. Akhnaha agamaha aharagama. The beginning of the day is called aharagama, daybreak. Tasmin aharagame kale brahmanaha prabodha kale. At that time when Brahma wakes up, all creatures are born. Tatha ratriyagame brahmanaha swapakale. So that is when Brahma sleeps at nightfall. Praliyante sarvaha vyaktayah tatra eva purvokte avyakta sangyake. They all dissolve into what was called the unmanifest. So, akrita abhyagamakrita viprana dosha pariharartha artham. What follows serves to exclude the flaw of the incidence of the unaffected and the destruction of the affected, to demonstrate the fruitfulness of action. Bandha moksha shastra pravritti safalya pradarshanartham. According to Shastraic instructions about bondage and liberation, and to evoke a sense of detachment from the empirical world. Avidyadi klesha mula karmashaya vasacha avashaha bhutagramaha, in which helplessly bhutva praliyate, hosts of beings get entangled due to karma. Ityataha samsare, impelled by vairagya darshanartham, in order to show the detachment from the empirical world. So idam aha. Again, you see Bhagavan Shankaracharya directly quoting from the Yoga Sutra. These words are taken directly from the Yoga Sutra. This point about karmashaya, klesha mula. These words are direct quotation from Yoga Sutra. It will come there, sati mule, right? Tad vipako, then jati, and then ayur bhoga, right? So, klesha mula karma ashaya is the having its root as the taint and this whole repository of karma. Drishta adrishta janma vedaniya. Kleshamula, karmashaya, drishta, seen and unseen births have to be experienced. So now Bhagavan is trying to evoke a certain dispassion towards this. Who is willing to read next one?
I can read.
Please.
Bhutagramah sa evayam bhutva bhutva praliyate ratrya vashah partha prabhavatya haragame.
Bhutagramah sa eva ayam bhutva bhutva praliyate. This same host of beings, after repeated births, gets dissolved helplessly, O Arjuna. At the time of nightfall, Ratri Agame, Avashaha, necessarily, Partha, Prabhavati, and they come forth at Aharagame. So praliyate ratriyagame, prabhavati aharagame. Bhutagramah iti, Bhutagrama, host of beings. Stavara Jangama Lakshanaha, mobile and immobile beings that existed in a prior age. Yaha Purvasmin Kalpe Asit, Sa Eva Ayam Na Anyaha. These are not any other. Bhutva Bhutva Aharagame, very same at daybreak, are obliged to come forth into being repeatedly, and at nightfall they get dissolved helplessly. Praliyate Punah Punaha Ratyagame, Ahraha Kshaye, Avashaha. Asvatantraha, they are without any independence. Eva, he Partha. Prabhavati jayate avashaha eva aharagame. And again at daybreak, they are born helplessly. Right? Remember that there was an earlier verse we read. Yanisha sarvabhuteshu. That which is night to all beings. Right? That is actually full bright light waking for the yogi. And that which is daybreak or fully waking state for the Bhutas is a kind of sleep, a dead thing to the yogi. All right. So this is now characterizing the state of ajnanam, the helpless bringing forth at every daybreak. So therefore, the means of attaining the imperishable, yet upanyastam aksharam tasya prapta upayaha, prapti upaya, the means of attaining, nirdishtaha is being indicated. Omiti eka aksharam brahma, Brahman, the monosyllabic om, etc. Ityadina. Atha idanim aksharasyaiva, now is affirmed in following order. Swarupa nirdidikshaya, in order to determine the true nature. Swarupa, true nature. Aksharasya eva, of that akshara, verily. Idam uchyate is now being said. Anena yoga margena idam gantavyam iti, that through this yoga marga, the specific path of yoga, this by which to reach that one, which is Om iti, Eka Aksharam. Who's going to read next one?
I can go.
Please.
Parastasmatu Vavonyo Vekto Vektat Sanatanaha Yasa Sarvesu Bhutesu Nasyatsu na Binasyati.
Thank you. Very nice. Paraha tasmatu, beyond that. Which one? That unmanifest, avyakta. Bhavo anya avyakto avyaktat sanatana. Beyond that unmanifest, paraha tasmatu. Bhavo anyo avyaktaha. Having another, there is another unmanifest. And it is sanatanaha, it is eternal. So avyaktat bhavo anyaha avyaktaha. So beyond that first unmanifest spoken of, there is another unmanifest which is sanatana, that does not change. Yaha sa sarveshu bhuteshu, the one who in even the destruction of all existing things, this beautiful locative case, sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatshu su, in even the destruction of all these beings, na vinashyati, is not destroyed. So remember, that one is what? The turiya, the fourth state. So right now we talk Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, corresponding to Vishwa, Taijasa, Prajna. What is beyond the Prajna? Where does the mind itself end? So right now we talked Prajna is the state where the trace samskaras, the Karana Sharira we say. Again, looking in the Sharira viewpoint, we say Sthula Sukshma Karana. Causal body. What is beyond the causal body? That is the Atma. That is the true, it is the fabric on which all the other stuff is woven, right? We take so many clothes and they are nice colors, different type, but what is the thread on which all that cloth is woven, right? What is the substratum? What is that water which appears as ice and then as steam, right? There is some tattva, that is consciousness, that is the turiya, the fourth. Into that, at that point in the bindu, the mind and the prana meet. From there only mind and prana emerge and they play with each other. And then the whole beautiful play starts. People, trees, sky, okay? Collapse everything is a magician, right? Project, take it. So that is the eternal manifest. He is the one. You say, we don't want to give it gender. It perishes not. Na vinashyati. Now, this is pretty ridiculous. Like, if you read this and you tell other people, they'll say, what nonsense. No, it's not nonsense. But one has to practice, right? So, otherwise, one can take it as a sacred word, very good. But then again, it will still be secondhand. And then some people will also see it and say, baloney, yeah, all very good, sounds very good. But truly, one must see this fabric on which everything is strung like beads on a necklace. So, paraha iti, let us say what Bhagavan Sri Shankaracharya has to tell us even more beautiful. Paraha vyatiriktaha bhinnaha kutaha. Another distinct and different from what? Tasmat purvoktat, from what was referred to earlier. Different and yet the base of. How beautiful is this? Very difficult, right? It is not different as in standing apart, right? Ice is not different from water. And yet ice looks different from water, right? So this is the beauty of it. Distinct and different from what? From what was referred to earlier. But serves to stress the distinction of the eternal being sought to be affirmed from the unmanifest source of matter. Tu shabdaha aksharasya vivakshitasya avyaktat vailakshanya visheshanarthaha bhavaha aksharakhyam sought to be affirmed. The eternal being is the higher imperishable Brahman, Param Brahma. Vyatiriktatve satyapi salakshanya prasango asti iti. The eternal being is though distinct possibly, it may be similar to rule out this possibility. The Lord speaks of another, meaning with other characteristics. It is unmanifest, being beyond the range of the senses. Sacha avyaktaha, unindriya gocharaha, parastasmat, ityuktam kasmat punaha paraha. It is said to be beyond that. Beyond what? Beyond what was earlier described. All this we have talked about. As the seed state, I told you, the Karana Sharira, the Bijam of the host of material beings, called also the unmanifest avyakta, meaning nescience, avidya. Right? Itya abhipraya. Sanatanaha chirantanaha saha yaha saha bhavaha sarveshu bhuteshu brahmadishnu nashyatsu na vinashyati. Brahman is a being with other characteristics. This is the idea. That eternal or everlasting being perishes not when all others like Brahma do perish. So 21, maybe. I think it's Racy's turn, is it?
Yes, I am left. Avyakto akshara ityuktah tamahuh paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadtham paramam mama.
Avyakto akshara iti yuktah tam ahuhu paramam gatim. That unmanifest, avyakta, akshara, is said to be imperishable. They say that he, tam ahuhu, he is said to be the paramam gatim, supreme goal. Yam prapya, reaching home, na nivartante, do not return. Tad dhama, paramam mama. My supreme abode is that, attaining which no one returns. Tad dhama, paramam mama. Know that to be mine. Right? Avyakta heti. Yo asau avyakta akshara ityukta tam eva akshara sangyakam avyaktam bhavam ahu paramam prakrishtam gatim. That unmanifest called imperishable they declare to be the supreme goal. That supreme being beyond reaching which they no longer return to empirical life. Yam param bhavam prapya. That supreme being, param, reaching home, prapya, gatva, having gone, na nivartante, do not return, samsaraya, that cycle of samsara, tat dhama, sthanam paramam prakrishtam mama. Know that to be mine, the exalted being of Vishnu, my supreme abode, Vishnoho paramam padam. Ityarthaha. What is nrupu? In this, he did not give the in the English translation, he did not give the reference. So let's look up. In the front was given all the abbreviations of the works, list of abbreviations. Page 17. Narada Parivrajaka Upanishad maybe, but it says Nrupu. There is no Nrupu. Dhuna padega what it is. Anyway. Pu that too, not Pu. 420. So maybe a little assignment. We have to find out what this Nripu is. Vishnoho Paramam. This is very familiar. Vishnoho Paramam Padam is so common. The exalted being of Vishnu. Anyway. Tal-labdehe, tat-labdehe, prat plus labdehe, tal-labdehe, upayah uchyate. The means of winning it is laid down. I think let us stop at 22. And whoever would like to read 22.
I can read first.
Please.
Purusha saparah partha bhaktya labhyastvananyatya yasyantah sthani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam.
Beautiful. Purushaha saparaha, that supreme spirit beyond. Partha, oh Partha. Labhyaha is obtainable, maybe one. To ananyaya, by unswerving devotion, bhaktya. So bhakti in tritiya vibhakti, instrumental case, and qualified by ananya, unending, unswerving devotion. Yasya antaha sthani bhutani, that which is the end point, or one may say where all beings dwell. Bhutani. Yena sarvam, by whom all this is pervaded. Yena sarvam idam tatam. That supreme spirit, O Arjuna, saparaha, Partha, saparaha purushaha, may be one. Labhyaha, ananya bhaktya, by unswerving devotion. Yasya, antasthani bhutani, that which is in whom all beings dwell. Yena sarvam idam tatam, that by whom all this is pervaded. Very beautiful. Purusha iti shayanat purnatvadva, either Puri Shayanat, either because of sleeping in the city of 9 gates, so Purushaha. Purnatvad, or because of it is complete. Saha Paraha Partha, he is the beyond, supreme. Paraha Niratishayaha, there is nothing that he cannot be exceeded. Yasmat Purushat na Param Kinchit, as a consequence of which there is nothing beyond Purusha. Saha, he, Bhaktya Labhyaha tu, is obtainable through bhakti, devotion, Jnana Lakshanaya Ananya Atma Vishayaya. So, by the characteristic of this supreme knowledge characterized by, right? He is supreme, Arjuna. Nothing excels him. He may be one through devotion, which is characterized by knowledge. So that's why I said told you also earlier, that bhakti which does not acknowledge or know the ultimate truth is bhakti that has not reached its final goal. Similarly, that jnana which does not understand this bhakti has also not reached its final goal. Bhakti, defined by Bhagavan Sri Shankaracharya, is Swaswarupa Anusandhanam. The very desire to know one's true self is bhakti. So, initially, this bhakti starts projecting onto an outward pratima, an outward image, a sound, which is, remember that Vach has 4 characteristics. We say that there is Vaikhari, the external sound, Madhyama, middle in the subtle, Pashyanti in its subtle form, in the causal form, and then Para, the beyond, right? So similarly, when we first say stotra, mantra, stuti, etc., sukta, this is in the Vaikhari form. We are saying it out aloud. But it has an effect in the Madhyama form. It sets up vibrations. Vedic chanting sets vibrations up in the pranic body. We don't see it, but it's there, right? This then has an effect in the Pashyanti form, which is it changes the very samskaras. The very seed thoughts get affected. It turns the mind away from, say, anger towards understanding, from avidya to vidya, right? It has these 3 effects. But its true existence is actually para, is even beyond. The soundless sound. What is the origin of all sound, right? So we call that, so we say Om, A-O-M, and there is silence after that, right? That is the abode of the para, Vaj, right? So similarly, here is said the Supreme Spirit and beyond the senses, existing in that 4th state, and by whom all is pervaded, Bhutani, Karya Bhutani. So, Yasya Purushasya Antasthani Madhyasthani Bhutani. Within him dwell all affected beings. Effect indeed falls within the cause. Karyam hi karanasya antarvarti bhavati. Yena purushena sarva idam jagat tatam vyaptam akasheneva ghatadi. By the spirit, all this world is pervaded, just as effects like pot, etc., are by space. Prakritanam, okay, now we will come back to this. We will read 23 onwards. Northern and southern parts, very beautiful, and culminating in 28. I think we can finish that next time. So for today, for a change, bang on time. We will see Shanti Mantram, and then, meanwhile, do you have any questions before I close out? So that there is a timely question, it can be addressed.
A technical question,
Yes.
and please correct me if I understood it wrong. So, the one who is beyond 3 gunas
Mhm.
is the Paramatma itself.
Mhm.
And Brahma being the Prajapati, he created the creation came out of him
Mhm.
in a way. So the gunas also in a way came out of him. So he's also not he's also beyond these three gunas.
No,
Then
he
why
is
Bhagavan said that he is not the same avyakta as the one like in the 20th shloka, the
right.
two avyaktas were mentioned just on that.
No, Brahma is Saguna because Brahma is Saguna Brahman.
So then he is also subjected to the variations of three gunas.
Absolutely. He's
Oh.
subject, his primary mode is Rajoguna. That's how he creates. In our Puranic thing, remember that in the beginning, there is the deep sleep of Vishnu
Yes.
in his Yoga Nidra, and then Shakti wakes him up, right?
Ji.
And then when he awakens, from him Brahma is born,
Ji.
right? And when Brahma is born, he has to fight very hard against Madhu and Kaitaba for 10,000 years. And then he takes even recourse to Vishnu, who comes and helps him overcome them. And then he begins the creation, right? So we can say the Trimurtis are Saguna Brahman, and they are having the characteristics of the gunas in them. Predominantly, Brahma having the Rajoguna, Vishnu having the Sattva, and Shiva having the Tamoguna. And in that sense, the one beyond is beyond these three even. It is difficult in a way to say, to make very clear distinction, just like, as I said, we can point to ice, water, and water vapor are three states of matter. So we can say that, say, one is Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, right? But what is the one that is the H2O molecule is there common in all of them? Right. So can we say that ice is really different from H2O? No, I don't. It's hard. It feels like word splitting after a while, right?
Ji, sir. Thank you.
Sure. Good question. Any other?
Dr. Sankar, I have one question.
Please.
So on verse 20, or all the related verses 18, 19, when it talks about the unmanifest, is it like in a seed form and then manifested is the creation?
Yeah.
And it says there's something beyond, there's another eternal unmanifest being. So what does that mean? Like saying an unmanifest being?
Yeah.
So what I understood was unmanifest is something is in the seed form, and there's even beyond that, which is also unmanifest being.
Yes, and in the sense that is, so both are pointed to as unmanifested as, so yeah, there are levels and levels of manifestation. So the most gross level of manifestation is that which is accessible through the senses, which we see in Bhulokam, right? Right? But there are subtler forms of manifestation which we experience in the other lokas, right? And one may say that the seed of all unmanifest is in that state of Brahmalok. But even beyond that, there is one who is the, you might say, the H2O molecule, the one that, the Turiya, the fourth, right? So unmanifest as in that sense. So, obviously beyond the senses, as the commentary said, right? Although all the other lokas are also beyond the senses in their gross form, beyond even the mind. Beyond prana also. So maybe I can give you an analogy. You see a plant, right? A tree, it comes from a seed, right? The seed is the unmanifested tree. Why? Because the tree has not come out yet. But all the potentiality of the tree is lying in the seed. The moment we pour water and put it in the sun and put it in the soil, it's going to grow into a tree, right?
Right.
So the walnut seed is an unmanifested walnut tree, right? Now, what about the DNA, the genetic material inside that walnut? You can't see that either, right?
Yeah.
But isn't it an unmanifest that is beyond even the walnut seed?
Right.
In that sense, the fourth can be thought in that sense.
Correct.
And after all, that DNA appears in all seeds, whether they are walnut or they are peach or whatever tree. Yeah. So in that sense, it is there in everything, but the particular form that it takes is also called unmanifest. Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Dr.
Okay.
Sankar.
Very good. Anything else? Okay, very nice. I'm glad you could all join. I'll say Shanti Mantram and then we will meet again. Om Tachamyuravruneemahe Gatum Yajnaya Gatum Yajnapataye Daivihi Swastirastu Naham Swastirmanushebhyah Urdhvam Jigatu Bheshajam Shanno Astu Dvipadehe Sham Chatushpade Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste everyone. Lovely meeting. Have a great evening. Nice.
Namaste, Doctor.
Namaste Resi. Namaste Pranav.